A Wonderkid winger who's willing to leave his team and can provide your side with goals and assists very comfortably. That sounds amazing, right? Well, what if I told you you can get that exact player for under £1 million? That's right, everyone. We have got a real gem for you today. My name's Jake for FMSCOUT, and today we're back with another episode of Wonderkid to Superstar, where we show you a Wonderkid on the highest end of their potential range to see just how good they could be in your save. Now, before we get into this one, I do want to say stick with us, because I'm going to show you a few different roles and ways that you can use this man to get the best out of him. It might not be exact for every single player. And on top of that, if you do enjoy the video, then please go ahead and smash that like button for us. It's free for you to do, only takes a few seconds, and it really does help the channel. We do mean that. So thank you to anyone who does that. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and let us know who you want to see in the next episode of the series. And with that being said, let's go and find this player. Now, this is a little bit of a weird one. This player can be in a lot of people's saves depending on how many players you've got loaded in, but with a very minimal database, he might not be there. So I'm just going to guide you through where you can find this guy. If you don't know already, when you start your FM save, you choose what kind of players you want in your database. You can add specific leagues in more detail, specific nations, and this player is from Venezuela. And sometimes if I just have a general large database, he ends up in it, but in a small database, he might not be here. So just bear that in mind. If you want him in your save, the easiest way to do it is add international players from Venezuela, or you could add the whole nation of Venezuela itself. But yes, we are heading over to South America, and in the Venezuelan divisions, there is a team by the name of Deportivo Táchira, and there's a player there that I recommend on loads of occasions in loads of videos, but we've never really gone in to how you can make him a real world-class talent, and his name is Yerson Chacón. He's already so good that he's not the hot prospect at his club, he is already the key player for his side. He's a 19-year-old with international experience, valued between £350,000 and £1 million. And he's only got about a year and a half left on his contract. Now, you can pick him up for £500,000, £600,000 in your save, so he is a real bargain and certainly worth the money. Your only issue will be the competition for his signature, because as you can see here, Porto, PSG, Man U, Liverpool and Chelsea all have an interest in this man. Like I say, 19 years of age, and he already has bags of abilities. Right-footed and can play on the left or the right. I think as someone cutting in from that left flank on his right foot, he could be ideal, but you could also use him on the left. We'll talk more about his role a little bit later. First, though, let's focus on these attributes. He is already doing pretty well in his physicals. He's got good agility, decent pace, natural fitness, and acceleration. By the time he's 20, 21, they will have gone up a hell of a lot. His determination isn't the world's best at 10. I don't know whether that will vary, but a determination value of around 10, we can improve that through mentoring, but it's really not going to hinder him as much as you might think. It's at a decent level at 10, not crazy good, but it's not awful and going to stunt his growth. It's a fine level to have. He's got good vision, work rate, and off the ball ability, but he's got great teamwork, really good flair, and when it comes to his technicals, he is a brilliant dribbler who's able to put in a cross, has good first touch, can pass as well, can hit a long shot, and his finishing needs a bit of work, but it's not at the worst level possible. So clearly this guy isn't ready to step into these kind of teams that are interested in him here. He's going to need some development, but he has a potential range of 130 to 160. So he can, in some cases, turn into a real world-class player. It's a dice roll though, so when you do load up your save, his potential will be anywhere in that potential range. And if you get it on the low side, yes, you might be a little bit annoyed, but he's still worth that £1 million, £500,000, whatever it is you'll have to pay for him. He's still certainly worth it. He's got lots of ability, and in this save, you're going to see him at his best. Now, this potential range of 130 to 160 is lower than we normally look at in Wonderkid to Superstar, but Chacón being so cheap and such a gettable player for so many teams, he has got to be someone that we focus on. Now, we're Real Madrid here, and I've used the in-game editor to bring Chacón into our team. We've bought him over for just under £1 million, and today we're going to be deploying him in this simulation in the inverted winger role on the attack duty. That is all. It's not a special tactics, just a 4-3-3 gegenpress, and I've switched some of the roles to be roles I prefer. For example, advance forward instead of pressing forward. I haven't done anything too crazy crazy, no additional instructions, but Chacón here is playing as the inverted winger on the attack duty, and I'll talk more about that role in a second. But as you can see, he's now in our team. He's got a potential of 4 stars, but don't judge them star ratings. It'll change a lot during the simulation, and these star ratings really won't mean anything, but clearly he wouldn't be ready for a Real Madrid team just yet. But we're using him here just to see how he could do in the best case scenario if a big team did sign him. If he got the game time in the development, how good could Chacón be? But there is nothing saying if you signed him for your, Stoke City team, if you can beat the other clubs to him, that he wouldn't turn into a great player. Of course he can. We're just putting him at Real Madrid to test him in the best environment possible. Now clearly this guy would not be ready for Real Madrid straight away, but for the purpose of the simulation, we're going to be using him there. He's being mentored by Luka Modric and also Karim Benzema, so he's being trained by some of the best out there. And speaking of training, we're only focusing in on the role that he's going to be playing, as we do for every player, to keep it fair in these simulations. But if you were buying him yourself, when it comes to the additional focus, there's a few things that I might focus on. The first one being passing. If that's something you'd want to get up, I feel like that would be beneficial training to him. On top of that, maybe if you want him to be more of a goal scorer, you could improve his finishing, or maybe you focus on final thirds, get that decision making and composure up. It's up to you. It depends how you want to use him, but he can certainly be a good inverted winger on this left hand side, and even an inside forward on support or attack he could do a good job of. But now that we've got him in our team, we're going to simulate a few years ahead to see how he might look on the lower end of his potential range, and then show you just how good he can be in his prime. Okay, so we've simulated 1 year ahead to see how good Chacón can look on the lowest end of his potential range. How good can he be straight away for you guys? Can he perform well? Well, we're about to find out. As I click there, don't forget to like the video if you are enjoying up to this point, but we can see here Chacón is having some good development. I'm not going to say he's amazing yet, but remember, this is him on the worst case scenario. So if you paid £500,000, let's say, you're going to have a player that within a year could be worth 20 times the investment amount. And if you develop him a bit more, he's going to be worth so much more than this. But yes, 20 years of age now. Physicals are looking a lot better. Not too much growth just yet, but they are looking good. 17 agility, 15 acceleration. Some improvements in his mental game and his technical game. But how has he performed in the in-game engine straight away? The answer is very well. Coming straight from the Venezuelan divisions, we wouldn't have expected too much from him, but he got 10 goals and 20 assists. That's 30 goal contributions in 38 appearances with a 7.17 average match rating. And to see that he can do this straight away on the lowest end of his potential range shows you how good he can be, but how good can he really get in his prime? Okay, so here we are in 2029. Chacón's been playing with us for 7 years or so now at this point, and he's now at his full potential of 160, and he is certainly a sight to behold. He's played amazingly well for us this season, but take a look at those attributes and remember how much he cost at the start. Obviously, he's not going to be Mbappe or Haaland level, but when you consider that he can cost you £500,000, he really is a no-brainer. And whilst you're looking at those attributes, I'll use that time to just give myself a quick plug and let you guys know that you can find my own channel linked in the description down below. We've recently kind of rebranded the way we're doing things over there. We're doing rebuild videos every week, and a lot of you guys have really enjoyed it so far. We've had some pretty big growth for my standards recently, so if you haven't checked out the channel yet, now could be a great time, and I'd really appreciate anybody who does that. But yes, Yerson Chacón, Venezuelan international, 49 appearances. Seemingly he hasn't been scoring many goals for Venezuela, but he has been doing the job for us. Let's take a look at his physicals first. 16 acceleration, 17 agility, 16 stamina, 14 pace, 15 balance. Everything you would want from a winger he has got. Add in some nice flair, some good off the ball work. The vision is very good. The passing technique is also looking good. He's got great anticipation and composure. He can hit a long shot. He can now finish at a good level. His first touch is strong, but because we've been focusing in on this inverted winger role for so long, his dribbling and his crossing is exceptional. This guy is probably one of the best in the world now at cutting in on that right foot and playing a cross in to whoever it is up front for us at this stage with Real Madrid, and he has been exceptional in game. If we have a look after his first season, only played 2 times, don't know why that was in the simulation, maybe he didn't get registered. Next season, gets 7 goals and 17 assists with 4 player of the match awards and a 7.56 average match rating. And in his 3 most recent seasons, he has hit, 33 goal contributions in that one, 36 in this season, and then the most recent season, 28 goal contributions in only 29 games. He's really at the top of his game now. He's creating so many goals, loads of assists, way more than we ever normally see in these simulations. So often we find goal scorers, but having a creative type is really beneficial to the whole team. Yes, he's playing with great players at Madrid, but this is still great. But let's see how he looks at the end of his career. And you can see he continued to be a threat for his whole career, creating so many goals. In one season, he got 26 assists in his most recent one. His most goals in a season were 15, and his highest amount of goal contributions in a season, I believe, might be this one at 37. And he finishes off with 74 international appearances, 10 goals, and still a very strong player. Currently looking like he might be moving to Arsenal to finish off his last season or so. But he's been a phenomenal talent. To pick him up for so cheap is such a great deal. So next time you load up a save, make sure you've got some cash laying about. Check if Yerson Chacón is in your game. If not, put him in your game by loading the Venezuelan divisions before you start your save, and you can get yourselves the bargain of FM23. He might even be that. I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10. His price point completely wows me. The fact that he's so cheap and such a good player. He won't be that cheap for long, so get some use out of him. If you have enjoyed the video, smash the like button for us, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.